come at this from a different direction. According to the CBO, gross federal debt in the year 2023 will equal $26 trillion. Do you guys have a calculation on the Chairman's mark in terms of what gross federal debt would be there?
About 24.3.
About 24.3. Okay, now, in the $26 trillion, according to the CBO, they're including what that you don't include? Aren't they including more than $800 billion more in war spending? So, so we'd have to adjust that debt down by $800 billion that you're not including in spending?
They have, as we talked earlier, they have the war spending and they have the disaster.
Okay, so
that is their baseline.
And so then 300 there, and then another couple $100 billion worth of interest again. So again, what we need to do is take 26 trillion and reduce that by about 1.3, correct? So now we're about to 24.7, and yours is 24.3. So that's about $400 billion of really debt reduction over the CBO baseline, a comparable baseline debt number, correct?
I mean, relative to your numbers, yes, that's the way it works out.
So isn't that really the bottom line? I mean, if you're talking about $1.85 trillion in deficit reduction compared to a comparable baseline, shouldn't your debt be $1.8 trillion less than what the CBO's adjusted debt?
No, I mean, again, we're very clear in how we get to our current policy baseline, and relative to that, it is one.
No. It's what is included in spending versus what isn't in that debt. So again, we just went through those numbers. Right. The CBO starts with $26 trillion in debt. They include in their debt figure $800 billion that you don't include in your spending. They include $300 billion in Sandy that you don't include. You got to pull those out. They include $200 billion more in interest spending that you don't. When you take out that 1.3 from 26 trillion, that ends 24.7 trillion versus your 24.3. You are achieving, in your chairman's mark, $400 billion in net additional deficit reduction. And you mainly get that by increasing taxes. You get it all by increasing taxes.
Again, this is a split between spending cuts and tax increases.
Regardless, the point being the $1.85 trillion in deficit reduction you claim is a total fallacy.
No, that's not correct.
Your budget has about $400 billion when you compare the final debt figure. No. What is a better way of comparing it?
Again, with all congressional budgets, with what OMB does, what Congressman Ryan did 2 days ago, we build a policy baseline.
You are just confusing the issue. This is very simple. The CBO starts with $26 trillion worth of debt in their debt figure. They include $800 billion you don't. They include $300 billion you don't. They include $200 billion you don't. That's $1.3 trillion. Take it away from $26 trillion. You end up with $24.7 trillion versus your $24.3. Your deficit reduction is $400 billion. Until we can agree on basic numbers, how are we ever going to come to agreement in terms of policy differences?
Senator, some of those are policy differences.
They are not.
The chairman's mark does not believe
we're going to spend
$1 trillion more dollars in the war in Afghanistan, and we do not believe that we need the disaster money where it is. So we build those out of the baseline. The chairman's mark also, to what Senator Kaine said, believes that we're getting rid of the 1.2 and the sequester and fully replacing it. It is laid out in writing how we get to this path.
What you want to do is you want to compare apples to oranges. I'm turning these things apples to apples, apples to apples. The debt in 2023, according to CBO baseline, is $24.7 trillion. Yours is $24.3 trillion. So I would really appreciate if you'd stop claiming $1.85 trillion worth of deficit reduction. That is false.
It's
false.
False.
I'm done.